The Ansett Air Race is a handicap race based on fuel efficiency versus the speed of travel. It ran from Archerfield, Brisbane, to Bankstown in Sydney, to Moorabbin in Melbourne, and Parafield at Adelaide, with fuel stops between. The pilot was Don Dennis, the navigator was Barry Wrenford. Don was a board member of the Royal Aero Club of New South Wales at the time. To save weight, I was told to bring a toothbrush, a comb and a razor and very little else. Aircraft was the first of type Victa 115 and it was fresh from the factory. The competitors had to fly to Archerfield for the start. The weather for this was terrible, with cyclone throwing low cloud and rain over the whole area, and as a result many competitors were delayed in their arrival, but we managed to make it okay. This is the aircraft we had to fly in, the Royal Aero Club hangar, the flight office and the club buildings in the background. The instrumentation is absolutely basic. There's just a compass for navigation, nothing else. So you've got airspeed indicator, altimeter, turn and bank, probably a directional gyro, 3 engine instruments and a radio. This is Archerfield Airport. It's warm and sodden and showing the aircraft that made it in. This is Don on the left, and note the borrowed raincoat, the bare feet and the plastic bag on the head. He's with officials who are checking the aircraft and then issuing its competition number. The following day was starting to fine up, still you can see the water on the ground. There's the aircraft currently lined up, a Proctor and a Fairchild and a Lockheed, I forget what it is, it's a Mooney, it's a twin Comanche which was new, twin Cessna, and there's a Mustang in the background, a couple of Osters. It's the Mustang, it's a bit bigger than the rest of them. Little tipsy nipper there, he was in the race. This is a commercial aircraft, as you can imagine. Here charters, fire truck. Aircraft coming in, you can see the spray behind them as they're taxiing through the water. These are the rest of the arrivals that couldn't make it before. Tri-Pacer coming in. This is the control tower. A bit different to what we have nowadays. This is the dipstick for telling the fuel levels. Don's demonstrating it. It's got to go in the hole here, curved round the corner, release the thing, and you hold it up and you can see the amount of fuel that's in. Early morning, next day, the briefing. Everyone listening. First stop will be Tamworth. This is the aircraft going out to have a look along the track to see if it'll be okay to go. The sun's rising, it's risen. Everyone's lined up all ready for the takeoff, cleaning the aircraft, the windscreens, getting everything ready. And the sun comes out with the rainbow. Finally, the aircraft start to taxi out for the takeoff. I think the fastest ones went first. You can see one taking off in the distance. Of course, they measure the time when each one takes off and when each one lands, and they measure the fuel that's been used. There's still a lot to go yet, but that one's gone. Our turn finally arrived to start up, taxi out, and a big crowd there to watch it all go. Marshal telling us where to go. And we've got the start gun here. Go. So we're off. Next stop was Tamworth. Now little Victa was pretty fast compared to a lot of other aircraft. We're busy overtaking quite a few of them, as you can see, as we go along. Another one down low. We're sitting on 105 knots. And it's turbulent at this level. The thermal activity, that's why everything's bouncing around so much. And we're at Tamworth Airport. There's Don checking the amount of fuel used. The usual crowd of people. And time recorded, we're off again. We taxi out and we've been flagged off once more. So much for Tamworth. Not quite so rough now. It is a bit rougher here. We're overtaking another aircraft. Cloud. We're probably going down coastal now. I'd say there'll be the lakes to the north of Sydney. We're flying just at the cloud level. That's Bankstown Airport. That's as it was. One runway, one bitumen runway. The rest of it was grass. The aircraft on the ground, all lined up. Now turn to land, and filling up again. Now we're very critical on fuel, because the less the fuel, the better the score we get. And of course it's just starting to dribble out. You'll see Don rush over with the cap trying to make sure that bit doesn't get lost. So this is Bankstown again, probably the next morning, yes. That's Don there on the left, checking things up. The cockpit sun's just rising because we had to be up rather early in the mornings, as you can see. Even the moon's still setting. That's all the waiting. Spent a lot of time waiting. That's a metacycle. It's a reverse tricycle undercarriage on it. And the usual cleaning of the aircraft, getting the water off it. I've got a clown here demonstrating how to get steaks out. He thinks he's an actor. There's the Mustang, just starting up. He's off. Twin Comanche. The aircraft, I can't remember, but they were probably assigned different levels to run at, I would say, for separation. Off again, there goes the Mustang. At dawn, just been given clearance to taxi out. Down with the flag and we're off once more. Very still down low. You see the smoke just hitting the inversion and low, and it's very calm up there. There's more smoke come out of the cement factory, I think near Picton, spreading out. Burrinjuck Dam. More of Burrinjuck. That's looking up the Goodridgeby River towards Wee Jasper to the south. And this is coming into Wagga, the Wagga Airport. Was a military airport once, but now it's a civil one. So we're back on the ground here. Check in, refuel, and we're then off to Moorabbin, Melbourne. That will be a lake just north of Benalla, heading down the highway, probably in the Seymour direction. It's getting a bit bouncy again now, thermal activity. As we're getting on, it's starting to get a bit overcast. The visibility's not so good either. A little navigation point down there. Then we start running the cloud, and we started out by going on top of it, but it got a bit too much and we had to drop down through a hole to get down below it, because obviously it was just thickening. So here we are circling to go down through the hole. And of course, having got beneath it, it started to rain. You can see the rain on the windshield. And finally down on the ground, once more it was wet. And of course many people weren't able to get through all the rain because visibility was so bad it was hard to navigate. This little cartoon says to heck with the air race, just get there any way you can. And next morning dawn's fine. Once more the briefing. And that's Brisbane Airport. So we taxi out, and DC3 in the back. I think that was following it. It was an Ansett, old Ansett DC3. Anyway, flagged off. Now, of course, we're very near to the Port Phillip Bay, and we have to go south to get to the edge of the shoreline because they didn't want us flying over all the whole city. So we had to fly up the shoreline, past a jetty. It's Prince Albert Park and the lake. Commercial shipping. And as we get away from Melbourne, of course, the weather gets a bit nicer. So we're climbing up above the cloud where it's nice and calm, and setting off for the next fueling point, which is Nil, N-H-I-L-L. In the distance you can see the Grampians. And we start to come up with all this scrub or mulga, whatever it is, just everywhere. And that's the Ansett A&A aircraft, and we're at Nil. And we have to check in here. That's the check-in point. You'll see Don here. There he is on the right. Your briefing. And we're off again. This time we're getting out to where there's not much of anything. Just scrub, ground, and nothing at all until we get out the other side. We start again to get near the Murray, and there's irrigation canals there. Things are starting to look a bit better. And there we are coming over the top at Parafield. That's with the finish. Into land. Usual crowd waiting. Aircraft there before us. I think this chap was trying to get himself drilled by the propeller. He was waiting until it was touching his belly button and then said stop, shut down. So that's Don and myself getting out of the aircraft. We're there. That's that. The Royal Aero Club of South Australia. All the check-in points to see what your results were. And these are all the lineup of aircraft there. And finally back to Bankstown. I've forgotten what our position was, but we didn't win it.